Hello. As you may have heard recently in the news, Volkswagen was actually found to have been putting a defeat device in their Volkswagen diesel vehicles. So, a little background information. Volkswagen diesel, they sell a lot more of these cars in Asia and European countries than the United States, but there's still about 482,000 Volkswagen cars in the US. And the big scandal is they're making their cars appear that they're cleaner running than they actually are. So the Clean Air Act requires vehicle manufacturers to disclose design information to receive certification that their products meet federal air pollution standards. Volkswagen had been putting this device into the vehicle that during emissions testing, it would show that the nitrogen oxide and carbon levels were far lower than they actually were. In reality, the cars were polluting almost 40 times as much as it showed during the emissions testing. So during the emissions testing, it would show these low numbers, and then when the car would actually drive on the road, it would produce a lot more pollution. Um, the U.S. officials in Volkswagen, they violated two parts of the Federal Clean Air Act, and they're facing sizable penalties of up to $37,500 per car. So that's around $18 billion in total. In addition to this, the consumers are actually viable to sue Volkswagen now because of the devaluation of their purchased vehicles. So along with the $18 billion in fines, Volkswagens have to find a way to remedy all the cars with their consumers. That means recalling thousands and thousands of cars and either issuing new vehicles to these customers or creating new software that will make the Volkswagens run on certain carbon emissions standards, which is going to be very costly either way. Volkswagen is not the only company that's been affected by this. The EPA in 2014, they hit South Korean automakers, Hyundai, and Kia Motor Company as well. And they had $100 million penalties each for overstating the fuel economy claims that forced their companies to cough up another $200 million in regulatory credits as well. So specifically, the Volkswagen car, it's saying that it's emitting nitrogen oxides up to 40 times the allowable standard in the United States, which is pretty serious. Even though the cars are legal to drive right now and they're not being recalled just yet, it's very likely that most of these vehicles are going to be recalled to sate the customers. So right now, HR related, it's going to be very difficult for Volkswagen to make a comeback from this. In Chapter 1, the textbook talks about the standards for ethical behavior, and this is especially relevant to this case. Because of the intentional nature of putting the defeat device in the car, they're facing actual criminal allegations that are specific to executive employees who knew about the plan to deceive both customers and the American government. So that's sort of a double whammy. The employees that work for Volkswagen that were knowledgeable about this going on, they actually have an ethical responsibility not only to the consumer, but to the vendors, to the clients, and also to the government. In this article, it's talking about the employees assuming the responsibility for the actions of the company. Because of the criminal investigation, there are going to be specific employees that are actually liable to being not only fired, but facing jail time and sizable fines outside of the workplace as well. The text really emphasizes the responsibility that the company has to take for any distrust, but not only with the consumers, they have to talk about the trust within the company as well. So employee trust is very important for HR. You have to be able to trust your coworkers. You have to foster this trust with your supervisors as well. And now I don't see how many employees at Volkswagen are going to be able to really trust their employers ever again. A lot of people are leaving the company voluntarily, as well as a lot of the upper level management has been fired recently. Can the employees ever learn to trust their supervisors again? Because they've been cheated, they've been betrayed. Because sales are going to go down so much for Volkswagen, it's going to hurt their company so much. This is going to affect individual employees as well. So now, besides HR, Volkswagen's going to really have to work hard to create a new marketing brand that says, "We're sorry," and try to find a new policy to bring back their brand, if it's even possible. HR related, that means they're going to have to get rid of a lot of the upper level employees that consumers aren't going to trust anymore. So in order to reinstore their trust, they're going to have to say, all right, we've messed up, and now these employees that have messed up are gone. So they're going to have to do a lot of new hiring, bringing in new people, and they're also going to have to bring in marketing teams and contractors from outside the company to try to work together with Volkswagen and really kind of bring the company back to what it can be. I'd like to really emphasize the importance of trust, because that's really what this article is dealing with. Consumers not being able to trust a company, especially loyal fans that have been buying Volkswagens for years, they now feel even if Volkswagen recalls their cars and sends them a new vehicle or fixes their old vehicle, will they ever buy another Volkswagen again? Probably not. So this is going to take a lot of work from HR, moving around different personnel to get people working on repairing the vehicles, creating a new marketing strategy, as well as trying to rebuild their customer loyalty.